Well, else they gave it to car accident. Well, concerned unless here, can you know? Yeah.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
I see there's a decent sized audience here today. Is there anyone here with an issue, a question, or a concern that they'd like to address to this board that is not on tonight's agenda?
Public comments.
Yes.
Karen Doctor. Johnson, 109 Stonecrest Drive. If Rod Serling were here, he would say, submitted for your approval, one terrific retiring supervisor, Ed Michaelenko, PhD. Ed, whose 20 years of selfless service to our community, the town of DeWitt, has to be recognized today, his last official board meeting. Ed has literally rescued our environment from the oil processing plant, has made our town electronically self-sufficient with solar panels. Sotto voce. This is among a million other things, because I was on board for 10 years. I could just keep reciting them. He has been successful in his efforts to have our town resilient against environmental extremes. For me, Ed has been a confidant, a mentor, a support system, a friend forever. And remember, a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others. We love you, Supervisor Menkalenko. Happy retirement. Yay! All right.
Nice job, Karen.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, well said.
I was hoping to sneak away by.
Not a chance. Not a chance, Ed. I don't like that. Hi, I'm Pam Dooling. My husband was Jack Dooling, who served on this board for many years and was happy to do that. But I couldn't let this occasion go by without telling you some of the things maybe you didn't know about Jack Dooling. Number one, Jack Dooling was Ed Menkalenko's coach, who taught him not only how to play basketball, but how to coach. And Jack was so proud when you would call him up and ask for plays. And he'd get off the phone, he goes, oh, Eddie wants to know how to do the out of bounds play. And Eddie wants to know. And he was so thrilled that you paid him such respect and a compliment. He was a loyal Democrat, as you all know. When he asked me to marry him, the second week, he said, are you a Catholic? I said, yes, I am, St. Matthew's. He said, are you Irish? I said, a little bit of Irish in me. He said, are you a Democrat? And I said, registered Republican. But he got me to change, so I turned into a Democrat. But he was always very loyal to his members, and he was always loyal to the town citizens. And if you had a problem, everybody had our phone number. I even get calls now since his passing about people saying, the dog is barking. It's like all the time. I don't know if you guys know it. I think all the town members know it. But on March 21st, there's going to be a very special ceremony for Jack. ESM, the other school district in this town, other than JD, and Jack used to say, whenever JD was brought up, he'd say, well, we got another one, you know. And that's ESM. And ESM has a wall of distinction in their courtyard. And it's usually players and coaches and teachers that are on this wall of distinction. And due to Eddie's beautiful, beautiful letter that you wrote, Jack was awarded the wall of distinction. This is a very big honor for him and our family. The ceremony will be March 21st, and I hope if you're available, you can come. And it'll be like at the Marriott, or it'll be like at Lynx or someplace really nice. It's not in the cafeteria of the school. The second love, other than me, of his life was Carrier Park. And he knows that well. And as Dom knows, he loved Carrier Park so much. We lived less than a mile. And I wanted to let Max know, and I wanted to let Rocky know that I will still take care of the flowers. Even though he isn't on the board, I'll still go and weed and plant the flowers in Carrier Park and at the town sign. So, Ed, you've been a friend. You've been a mentor to me, because you're the most democratic person I know. And when the times were tough, you and Mary Ellen were there. And that meant so much to us and to the family. And he was so proud of you, Eddie. He was so he's here with us with the cross. And thank you, Ed, for everything you did for him and for me and our family.
I'll add to that story. When Danny Hurley won his first national championship in Connecticut, he ran two offenses that were old parochial school league offenses, and the rest of the college world didn't know. And that was one of the reasons that Connecticut was pretty effective, but they ran a shuffle and a variation of the weave that goes back to guys like Jack Dooling in the old parochial school leagues. Yes.
One says it. This is Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Ernestine Cooper.
Thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
It has been so many years, so many times that I've been over here. I called you, chewed you out. And you can put your signs on the. And you said, where? I said, this is Miss, oh yeah, Miss Cooper, I know where you at. So anyway, I didn't feel my best. But you know, there are just times, Joey, when I've been so blessed. And everybody knows that this is my second time being cancer free. So because of all and everybody, my daughter, the boss of me now, Mother, are you ready? I said, I'm ready. But Joey, you called me to remind me, but I had it in my, you know what I mean?
Yep.
In my electronic date and time. And Ed, wherever you go and whatever you do, you take this with you. You take this with you because we disagreed, but we weren't disagreeable. And the main thing is, I got your cell phone number. So-
And I'm not going to wait. Call me anytime.
Don't say that. Now, Max made a mistake of giving me his number.
Think about something else, Michelle.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper.
Oh, you're welcome.
Honorable members of the town board and honorable members of the town of DeWitt. I had not planned on doing this tonight, but I would be doing a disservice to this amazing town and to these amazing citizens and to this amazing board if I didn't stand up and say something about my friend Ed Michaelenko. In 2006, I was living an amazing experience as the volunteer executive director of Syracuse Challenger Baseball. It was my third year volunteering in that role, to which my wife, in no uncertain terms, told me I had to take the position because she feared that the league might just fold if somebody didn't take it over. And we had experienced tremendous growth in the league. For those who don't know about Syracuse Challenger Baseball, Challenger is an official division of Little League International. But what makes it special is that all of our players, children and young adults with all differing abilities. We have children with intellectual and developmental disabilities, neurological impairments, hearing, vision, speech impaired. But you know what? When they get on the baseball diamond, they hit, run, score, cheer, and high five like every child in this community and every child in the nation. But I was perplexed with a problem back in 2006, and that was that program had grown so big that we couldn't find truly accessible ball fields to accommodate the size of our league and the mobility of some of our players. So we had to start thinking out of the box. And thinking out of the box meant it's time to do something different for this community, and it's time to do something different for the nation. And that is to build a set of fields that are truly all accessible, all inclusive, and welcoming to athletes of all different abilities, of all ages and all backgrounds. So I set out here in Onondaga County looking for land and a partner. I didn't have any money, and I certainly didn't know enough rich people to have money to do something like this. But when you dream big and you do it for the right reasons and you do it to empower family and community, you do your part and God takes care of the rest. And that's exactly what happened. For 3 years, I looked in Onondaga County for a partner and for land without success. One day, I was here at the town of DeWitt. The town board and Ed had asked me to serve as a legal advisor to the DeWitt Local Development Corp. We had just built the amazing fire station #2. So I had the honor of sitting with Ed and some of our colleagues on the local development board. We finished the meeting and we went back into Ed's office. For those of you who don't know, Ed and I grew up together. Ed and his sister, her husband. So we sat in his office and I gave him my tale of excitement and frustration that I couldn't find land and partners willing to build this dream set of fields. And he looked at me and said, and I'll never forget this as long as I live, Dominic, why don't we bring those fields to DeWitt? That was in early 2010. Within 6 months of that time, we opened up the town maps, we looked at a bunch of different places. 6 months later, Ed strikes up a conversation with an old DeWitt resident who happens to be one of the senior most executives for United Technologies Corporation, which was the parent company to Carrier, John Mandyke. And that conversation goes from Carrier willing to donate its 26-acre former employees park right off in Kinney Street to the town of DeWitt as long as it remained a park. Guess what just dropped in from above? The site for the Carrier Park Field of Dreams. We had land, but we didn't have a nickel. It didn't stop us or this board or Ed. On May 16th of 2026, this entire community will be invited to see the most magnificent Carrier Park Super Field of Dreams facility that exists anywhere in the Northeast. And what makes it different? It's different because everyone is welcome and can play there. And that happened because of Dominic. Why don't we bring those fields to DeWitt? So join me tonight in honoring the retiring DeWitt supervisor, my friend Ed Michael Anchor.
There's an old saying, here's your hat, what's your hurry?
So I'm Dennis Payne from Jamesville, the chairman of the DeWitt Advisory Conservation Commission. And I actually have my own little history lesson for people. Ed knows a lot of this. Most of you have probably no idea. Ed and I met in the summer of 1975. Ed was right out of ESM High School. I'm not going to do the oath. And I was out of Lemoyne, and we worked together at the old Cook's department store on Genesee Street, right exactly where Wegmans is. So we had kind of a wild summer. I left to go to school. I left to find a teaching job, and we reconnected in the late 1980s to the early 1990s when we had a huge environmental issue to fight, and that was the garbage burning incinerator that the county had decided should go in our backyards in Jamesville. So it was Ed, I was there, Martha Lowe, and our great, great hero, Vicki Baker, who led us. And after that, it was history in DeWitt. You became a member of the board. But in the early 2000s, you were by yourself here. It was basically you and nobody. I remember you telling me you couldn't even get agendas to the meetings. In early 2007, you and I think Mike Wallace met with Barb Clem at her house, and she said, "What are we going to do? Because we're out here by ourselves, nobody's listening to us, and we have no issues." And I remember you saying, "Well, I know what I would do if I was the supervisor, but I don't want to do it." And we said, "What about Kerry? He's not doing anything." And so we were stuck. And then we had our own miracle. Some guy from New York said, "I want to put a coal gasification plant behind the Alpha Portland cement plant in Jamesville," which is right behind the elementary school. And all the Republicans here jumped up and down. They were so happy. They ran and got their pictures taken out there. And Ed was the only one who said, "The devil is in the details." And he would not do it. So we rallied in the town in Jamesville. At the firehouse in Jamesville, I stood next to you and Vicki. And Vicki said, "I'll run if you run." And you agreed. And then you got Kerry and you got Lorraine. And the rest is history because they all won. And really, we've been on our feet since then.
So you've got Vicki Baker to blame for me in this scene.
So, and
The detail in that story is I was pushing Vicki for a month or two to run for supervisor.
yeah.
She was on the Onondaga County ledge and she was stepping away from the ledge, and I kept saying, "Vicki, you run for supervisor, we'll stop this coal plant." And Vicki turned to me in that meeting and said, "I'll run for town board if you run for supervisor."
Well, right after we finally got control of the board, everybody won. We were at a meeting and somebody said, "How come we always win?" And Kerry said, "Because everybody likes Ed." And that was the fact. So on behalf of everybody in Jamesville, who we were basically the brunt of everybody's environmental joke, we want to thank you. On behalf of DAC, because you've always supported me when I noted people that come up with strange ideas. Just thanks.
Thank you.
Our next DAC meeting is January 10th. Answer is.
I'll bring a little humor to that first environmental fight. We showed that how tough we were. We knocked that incinerator out of the way. They moved it 100 yards into the town of Onondaga. So anyways, with that, I'll ask the clerk to take the roll.
Supervisor Michaelenko.
Here.
Counselors Alex,
Here.
Shirenza,
Present.
Banyan,
Here.
Hood. Here. Ruckdeschel,
Here.
and Stevenson.
Okay, I got a couple of announcements, really. Oh, we've got the 505, which we're well past, road dedication. So, right? We've got
Yep, you want me to read the notice?
read the notice.
Notice is hereby given pursuant to the New York State Town Law that a public hearing will be held by the town board, the town of DeWitt, on Monday, December 22nd at 5:05 p.m. at the town offices in DeWitt, New York, on the question of accepting a land dedication of a public road from 6542 Woodchuck Hill LLC to the town of DeWitt. The location of the public road proposed to be dedicated to the town is on Woodchuck Hill Road in the town of DeWitt. Tax map parcel ID 076.07-08.0. The town board will consider accepting said public road donation, and if accepted, such public road will be owned by the town of DeWitt and maintained as a public road by the town of DeWitt. This was published in the Post Standard on December 14th, 2025.
Is there anyone here to speak to that issue? Yes.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mike Fogel. I'm the attorney for the applicant. So this road dedication is in connection with the approved subdivision on Woodchuck Hill Road, 8-lot subdivision. It's basically ready to go. All the site work's completed, all the utilities are installed, the road's constructed. The planning board issued final site plan subdivision approval conditioned on a few things, but one being road dedication to the town of DeWitt town board. So since then, we've been working with the town attorney on getting him all the legal documents that he needs in order for us to donate the road to the town. So that's all in process and pretty close to being done. Pretty close. Just a couple things. But tonight we're here to hear any public comments, answer any questions this board might have. But subject to comments, what we would really love for the town to consider tonight would be approving the dedication subject to tying up any of the remaining legal issues subject to town attorney's review and approval. So I don't know if there's any questions. We're happy to answer
Any
any.
questions from the board?
Matt, is everything going?
You said it exactly right. What we're looking for is just an updated title policy that for the present date, and I anticipate that coming. It's Christmas right now, so I figure it'll be in sometime soon.
Yeah, it'll be soon. Yep.
So I sent Angela an email just for the minutes, and so board can approve or accept the dedication of the road with the condition that the town attorney reviews all the documents before filing, and then we'll sign off on the TP 584 and RP 5217 and get it filed.
Great.
The highway superintendent just left the room, but the town engineer is here too.
Doug, Haley,
We're also doing we're doing securities for the road.
everything's fine. Yeah. Good shape.
Any other comments, questions from the board?
Is the final, I haven't seen it in a couple months, but with the snow and everything, but has the final top coat or whatever been put on the road? There was still some drainage issues there near the intersection.
The binder's in, the top coat has not been placed, and we've been working with Mike and Dan King, who's over here, the developer, to get a deposit, and we come to a number that Mike and Dan are fine with.
Okay.
It covers the cost of the top coat.
Okay.
Remaining work on the
The
road.
remaining work on the
Make sure it
road,
gets
make sure.
done, but we don't anticipate there being any problems.
Any questions from the audience? If you didn't hear what's going on, there's a new development off of Woodchuck Hill Road. That road has been built by the developer. And after inspection by our highway department and our engineers, and after the legal agreement work is done, the town will accept that, and that road then becomes part of the road system which the town maintains. So then it'll be our obligation to plow it and to maintain the drainage and any of the infrastructure like water and sewer lines that are underneath that road or along it. So there's usually a student or two in here. I explain what's happening. All right, with that, I'll close the public hearing.
Would it be possible to wait on voting on it till Robert gets back, just so that, I did want to ask him.
I was assuming he was an
He
emergency.
left his stuff, so thought he was.
We've been talking about this. He's told me we're
Good to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good to go with this.
Okay. We'll approve it Here, I'll entertain a motion in a second contingent upon legal, engineering and highway approval.
I'll make the motion.
All right, I have a motion from Joe and a second from Bernard. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion's carried.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think Dominic just left and he gave us a good history on the Challenger. The board is engaged in an email exchange. And I will continue to work on this after January as well. But again, it's the goal here is to get a long-term resolution / agreement between Challenger and the town, which permits the group and the disabled community access to the park long-term, with, again, restrictions, bounds, controls on that so that there's legal things like liens and approvals and all that stuff are not constrained by the Challenger Group or placing any commitments on the town. But again, the concern that I and others have had is that we built this park, we built it in the name of the challenged community, and that's been the pretense for the last decade. And I've seen it in other instances where future boards change the direction of a property. And so we're just trying to protect the future for both ourselves and the group. There's one condition in place right now that Carrier Park always must be a public park. A future board may decide they want to sell it, and it turns into a private facility and it's managed for recreational purposes. It's in an ideal location. One of our impetuses for the project was the hotel industry. We have 26 hotels and over $100 million in property value assessments. It's good for our local economy to hold tournaments, and it supports the community through hotel tax, through sales tax, through room occupancy tax, and then the businesses that sell to the visiting community. So the park is dual natured. It's the communities through the week, and it's that revenue generator on the weekends. So we want to make sure we preserve everyone's rights going forward. But at any point in time, a future board decides they want to sell it, Carrier will have the right to reclaim the land or the property. And then the second protection I'd like to see long-term is that the disabled community has continued access, use of that park. And right now, it's not very demanding. It's Tuesdays through Thursdays, May and June. So, okay, with that, I'll move to the Jamesville train station. There is a train station, if you know, and it's on private property. The Jamesville Plaza has that train station. It's been the town's, and we've maintained it and cared for it for 20 years now. A number of different groups use that. The Jamesville Chamber of Commerce uses it for years. Jam Pack used it. Many of the other groups. And over the years, it's been an expense. And with the addition of the Jamesville Fire Barn becoming our community room, we don't need that building or that structure to serve in the capacity that it has in the past. So I have a handshake agreement with the Jamesville Museum, would like to take on that building, and they will take care of the heat, lights, and maintenance of the structure if we put an agreement in place with them for $1 a year. And they're in the process of converting it into a train museum. So there's memorabilia from the old train station. Some of the stuff is in the Jamesville hardware store right now that's being transferred to that building. And so there's railroad memorabilia, and I'll probably put an electric train set and some of the stuff in there, but it'll be a recognition of the past and the connection between the quarry and the railroad. It was one of the first railroads in central New York because the quarry rock was delivered from Jamesville to Salve for the Salve process. So there's a deep history there with the train and the quarry, and the Jamesville Museum is focused on the quarry. And so there's a good group there. And I just hope the future board is willing to entertain that relationship with the museum and at the same time repurpose the Jamesville Museum. Okay, with that, I'll move on to the authorization of the auction for trucks.
Yeah, we got 6 vehicles that we've taken out of service, and we would just like authorization to set up an auction through Auctions International to auction those out. Any questions from any of the board members?
Yeah, these are all basically unusable vehicles,
Yeah,
right? There's no way to
everything-
repurpose them.
Everything's out of service, yeah. Yep.
Any other?
Actually, do not even run. Rocco, you did say that these are off-road, they're already off.
Already, yeah, they're already serviced, yeah. So we'll just put them on auction.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion from Joe, a second from Max. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. Authorized purchase of the mass communication system.
All right, I have met with 3 different vendors to get quotes for a mass communication system. We looked at Civic Plus, GoGov, and TextMyGov. The Civic Plus offered the most robust product that could really help us. And as everyone, I'm sure, is aware of the water situation now, this is one of those opportunities that would have been really advantageous for us to have this. It allows you to select different areas, like you can select a neighborhood or a group of neighborhoods, or you can do the whole town. It allows us to email, phone, text. We can put out a social media post and put on the website all at once. So it really improve our communication townwide. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Yes.
To integrate with the Onondaga County 911 system? Or do they act as separate?
That it is a separate, they do have there's a police function, like there's an emergency that you can tie into, but we would have to apply for that.
Okay.
But I don't think that I can check on the 911, but I'm not. They did not mention that, and I think they would have probably.
And when you said apply to be a part of that emergency system and or.
Yes, there's a different like national that we could apply to. You have to apply to be a part of our town would have to.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, the need authorization for
Yeah.
purchase?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion from Max, a second from Sarah. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried.
Thank you, guys. I'm very excited.
Okay, we have the town board minutes of December 8th. I'll entertain a motion. In a second, motion from Carrie, a second from Bernard. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion's carried. All right, there's no warrant. Okay, any town board updates?
Yeah.
Didn't we,
You just want to leave it up.
didn't the judge send their,
Well, I guess I'll admit it, I think a number of yous are aware of the fact that Aqua has a 42-inch water line that is ruptured, and therefore there's 5 towns on the eastern suburbs of Onondaga County and Madison County that are experiencing low water pressures, and there is a concern that they're not going to be able to service those towns. Water supplies are extremely low, so there's a danger that they're going to not be able to supply water within days. There's they're working to get water into the system from other areas. So we are currently one of the towns, and we have our own system. So we have worked with the city of Syracuse to get more water into the southern portion of the town. We're also looking and working with Aqua to get more water coming from the west in our northern part of the town. But our water districts do not connect north town to south town. The railroad tracks and the rail yards serve as a barrier. There are no water lines under those rail yards, so all of our service area in the southern half of the town is isolated from its northern half. And so it's yet to be seen how this is going to play out. But the repair on this 42-inch pipe, and think about it, that's 3.5 feet wide. Water's moving through it. It's a huge volume of water. And this is the concern going. And Aqua has been announcing this through the press, and they're asking everyone to reduce their water consumption. We've gone to our major users and asked them to shut down or drastically reduce their consumption of water too. So most of the industries and businesses in the town of DeWitt are aware of this, and we've been, like I say, working with them to close their operations or shut early or manage their water supplies. So the goal is to preserve as much water for residential use, but you in your home can reduce water as well. So.
Is there an anticipated length of time for this repair?
Right now, the repairs, worst case scenario, are 2 to 3 weeks it could take to repair this.
So with schools being closed during this period, would that help?
Yes.
In the
Yeah, schools being closed, vacation time, for example, Carrier, for example, shuts Thursday through New Year's. They're like number 3 on our list in terms of users. We've asked them to close Wednesday as well. They've made that request up to their corporate, but they haven't. Actually, the decision maker on this one was on a flight to Japan this afternoon. So it's yet to be seen whether they'll be able to close on Tuesday. But again, we've worked with all our major consumers of water to try to reduce or consumption. Okay. All right. There's no other announcements. We go into what's called executive session. We'll break here for a minute because I know 2/3 of the audience. It's, the executive session, when we deal with a legal issue or a personnel issue, we can't talk about that in public. And so we have a number of items that will end up going into executive session, and we excuse people from the room. For those of you that are students, Mr. Cottett's class or others that need a signature, you're more than welcome to approach the bench. Anybody here on the board can sign that paper for your class. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to enter executive session, but we'll adjourn a minute before we go into that. So I'll have a motion from Patty and a second from Joe. I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?